Hello, good friends. It's evening time and it's time for supper, so I'm fixing to start supper, but I want to show you how to make this evening homemade, made from scratch mashed potatoes. So let me turn this camera around here and we'll get started. Okay, I've got these red potatoes back here. Now I prefer red potatoes for mashed potatoes. I just like the flavor, but you can use brown potatoes or russet potatoes or, you know, whatever you like. So I need to peel them. Get started on that. And I like to use just a good sharp knife. I know some people will use a potato peeler, but I've just always peeled mine with a knife. That works best for me. I just start on it and I just peel round and round and round and round. If you see any bad spots, get them off. Okay, now we're going to cut it up into smaller pieces. Put it in this pot over here. Now I know some people, you know, make the instant mashed potatoes, but I didn't. I grew up eating the made from scratch mashed potatoes, and you just can't beat them. To me, they're the best, and they're not a whole lot of work. If you've had years of peeling potatoes like I have, it doesn't take a whole lot of extra time to actually peel the potatoes and cut them up and put them in the pot. But you do have to let them cook, though, so I guess it does take a little longer, but it's worth the time and the effort to me. They're just so much better. Okay, so that's the way that I'm cutting them up. Putting them in the pot. I've still got a few more. I've got 2 more potatoes to cut up. So I'll turn the camera back on once I've got that done. All right, I've got my potatoes peeled. They're in the pot. So I'm going to turn around here over to the sink and I'm going to rinse them off before I put them on the stove. Just put some water in them like this. Pour it out, hold your hand so the potatoes won't fall out. Rinse them, you know, about 3 times until they're good and clean. They could have a little dirt on it. They could have little pieces of potato peel or something like that. So you want to rinse them real good. All right, that should be enough. Now we want to put water in the pot for them to cook in. You want to pretty much fill the potatoes. You want to pretty much cover the potatoes with water. And we're going to put it around here on the stove. Let's get around here where you can see. Put it on this little front burner right here. I've got some other things that I'm going to cook. And so we'll let the potatoes cook right here on this front burner. We're going to turn the burner on medium high. We're going to let these potatoes cook until they're tender, and then we'll finish them up. All right, the potatoes have been on the oven, on the stove, cooking for a little bit. Let's turn around here, take a look. Okay, here they are. They're boiling. Can you see all of the foam and the bubbles right here? We're going to let them boil until a fork stuck in a piece of potato will stick through the potato and easily, and that means that they're tender and they're done. And so we're just going to let them cook a little while longer. Maybe I should get a fork and we'll test them before we go any further. Okay, so here's a fork. Let's turn around here. Let's test these potatoes and see. Are they tender yet? I have to do this with my other hand. Okay. No, they're not tender. Okay, so they need to continue to cook. All right, so let's check on our potatoes and see if they are tender yet. Got my fork. I'm going to just stick it into one of these little pieces of potato. Oh yeah, it's tender. See, it's falling apart. All right, that's good. The potatoes are tender, so that means they're done, and we're ready for the next step, which is I'm going to take the pot off the stove and over to the sink, and I'm going to drain the water off of the potatoes. Okay, let me get the lid. Okay, here we go. Oh, wow, that's hot. Hang on, let me get a pot holder. Okay, got a pot holder. Here we go. Right here, we're going over to the sink. Let me turn this around to the sink. There we go. Now, I'm going to drain the water off, and you know, I know you could pour this through a colander or whatever, but I have just always just held the lid, just cocked a little bit to the side, and I pour the water off. This works great. The lid holds the potatoes in place, and the water comes out. All right, y'all see that? Okay. And the reason that I set it back up like this and then turn it back over is because some water will have drained up in this lid, and some of it, and so if I turn it back like this, it'll fall back down in there, and I can drain it again. All right, good. We've got it all drained off. We're going to come back around here to the stove, and we're going to finish up these potatoes, okay? We're fixing to be through with these potatoes. Okay, let's take the lid off. Now, oh, my fire's still on. Okay, that's not going to be good. Should have turned my burner off. Okay, let me set them right there for a minute. We want to put a little salt in our potatoes, and that's all I'm going to put in it is some salt. There's, you know, various things you can put in your mashed potatoes. You can put salt and pepper, garlic, salt, you know, cheese. Cheese makes everything better. But I'm just going to add a little salt. And then I'm going to show you how I mash my potatoes. Okay, let's see. Here's a little salt. Let me hold this up here where y'all can see it. I'm putting just a little salt in here. Okay, we've got a little salt in there. Now, the next thing I want to add while my potatoes are still good and hot, I'm going to add some butter, real butter, okay? Let's open this up. Let's put some real butter in it. I'm not going to do the whole stick, I don't believe. Trying to see if I can put this somewhere where you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm just cutting the butter off in about 1 tablespoon pieces. Putting it in the pot. Some like it cold, some like it hot. Oh wait, no, that's not the way it goes. That did y'all see that? That butter went on the floor. Some like it hot, some like it cold, some like it in the pot 9 days old. That was talking about peas. Okay, so that big piece of butter went on the floor. Okay, so we'll put the rest of this in here. There we go. Now we want to add a little whipping cream, okay? Okay, there's a little bit of whipping cream. Let's see if we can get this butter down in here, maybe where it'll start melting a little better. Okay, now the next step is that we are going to mash these potatoes. Now, some of you may have never seen something like this before. If you're very young, you may not know what this is, okay? This is a hand potato masher. I don't mash my potatoes or whip my potatoes with an electric mixer. I mash them with a hand potato masher. Okay, so here we go. Stick it down in here. Gotta be careful so that, I told you can kind of get it mashed up a little bit so that it don't come out the sides here of the pot. Okay, yes. This looks great. Now, my best friend Carla, she likes, her favorite meat to eat is pork chops. And she likes to have mashed potatoes and gravy with her pork chops. So, tonight I am cooking her pork chops with mashed potatoes and gravy and broccoli. So she ought to be a happy girl. Let's add a little more of this whipping cream. And you just put in the butter and the whipping cream to the consistency that you want your potatoes to be. That's just as an individual, you know, some may want potatoes that are a little more stiff, some may want them a little more runny. So it's just your preference, however you want that. Okay, let's see if we can mash these potatoes a little bit more. Now the reason that I don't use an electric mixer, I have tried an electric mixer in the past. Let me switch over to this other side so that I can use my other hand. This is my other hand, my left hand. It looks like my right hand on this video, but this is really my left hand. I have tried using an electric mixer before to mash my potatoes, and I didn't like the consistency that it turned the potatoes to. It turned them to this kind of sticky, gluey consistency. I just don't care for that. So if I mash them with my potato masher, it does not do that. And we know that potatoes are a starch. So there's something about mixing them with that electric mixer that makes that starch in the potatoes like glue. So I just do it by hand. And we are almost through here. I'm showing y'all how the old timers used to make mashed potatoes. This is the way the old timers done it. What none of this, go to the store and buy a box and, you know, heat up water and add the potato flakes and stir it around, and, you know, voila, we got so-called mashed potatoes. No, homemade from scratch is best. Okay, here they are. Here they are. Okay, see this? I'm just tapping this potato masher on the side of the pot, and that gets all the potatoes off of the potato masher down into the pot. You know, except for just a little bit that you have to wash off. Okay, so we've got that. Now, I really think that I should taste these mashed potatoes before I let y'all go. I really think that would be a good thing to do. So here we are. I'm going to get me a bite of these mashed potatoes. I'm going to see what they taste like, okay? I might have to blow them a minute. Okay. Don't tell me nothing different. That is sure enough good. Okay, so glad y'all was with me today. And hope y'all have a good day. And y'all be good. Say your prayers. Live for Jesus. And we'll see you next time.